G'day Internet. Today on my bench I have a keyboard. And not just any keyboard, a J Burroughs keyboard, which is the cheapest keyboard you can get from Officeworks. And came with a mouse. But that's not what I want to talk about. Today I want to talk about the computer that I brought off AliExpress, which let's go into right after this. Okay, so I wanted a new computer for video recording and video editing because my $300 laptop wasn't cutting it. The quality was subpar, the resolution was low. So I thought, hey, why not buy something off AliExpress? Because, well, I do like to browse AliExpress. So what I ended up buying was this one. So I've got the Mukai X99P full motherboard, LGA 2011-3 kit with 16 gigabytes of RAM and a CPU, and I also brought a video card. So the CPU that came with it was a Radeon E5 2680, which is a server. It's an old processor. It was secondhand. The AliExpress recovered it out of a server they were pulling apart or recycling or what have you, and it retailed for $1,745 back in 2014. So it's 10 years old at this stage. I got it for $11 as part of that kit. And it is base frequency is 2.5 gigahertz, 12 cores, 24 total threads with hyperthreading, turbo base frequency of 3.3 gigahertz. Now, I was thinking to myself that, really, what am I going to get for $200? And I figured, not much. But honestly, it is fantastic. So, obviously, I've got the Radeon RX 580, which is this one here. It's pretty reasonable. Well, more than reasonable for $100. I also brought some stuff from within Australia to finish it off. So case, power supply, CPU cooler, and hard drive. So that was $225 Australian, plus my $207 to China. But as far as it goes, it's all fantastic. Like, it works so well, like unbelievably well. Like, my laptop couldn't even handle, the full HD, which is 1080p. It could just barely handle 720p. This thing would honestly easily do 4K, but I'm still doing 1080p because, well, hard drive space is a factor. So, well, let's actually go have a look in the side at the case itself. Let me change over to the shaky cam. Okay, so we're on the phone cam, and there's the computer itself. It looks like a generic sort of box. Let's go around the side. And there we have it. Big white GPU, big glowy fan CPU, 16 gigabytes of RAM, DDR4. All in all, pretty impressive for the price. So I suppose, well, now that I've said it's good, well, let's go actually have a look at it running a couple of benchmarks. Okay, let's go with the Blender benchmark. And doesn't actually show anything, it just renders it using the CPU. Okay, so there's my samples per minute, and well, let's compare it. Okay, so here we are, and they've got median scores, which is somewhat annoying. So let's work out the median score of what we've got. Okay, so we've got a median score of about 58, which, you know, is absolutely abysmal compared to, well, that is like super high end, like that's got 96 cores. So let's do a comparison. My main desktop computer has an i7 7700K, which is 84 for $450. Let's call it that. Well, my i7, when I brought it, it was probably about $1.5 grand, and I've done a few upgrades since then. So all in all, I've probably spent about $2 grand on that computer. This was $450. That is bloody amazing. Well, the amount of power you get for very little money is astonishing. So yeah, just wanted to share that. So if you want to get excited, get on to AliExpress, Mukai, 12-day delivery. It's completely legit. Now, while we're here, let's have a quick look at my GBS control. So the GBS control is a cheap board you can get from China. Well, the GBS board comes in a few variants. So this is the HD99 something, which outputs HDMI, inputs a VGA signal, well, RGB. So this thing was designed so you could hook up arcade cabinets to modern flat panels. So, you know, if you're replacing the old CRT in a cabinet, you could output it to a HDMI and just put a cheap flat panel in there. What I've done with it, and other enthusiasts on the internet, have gotten these boards and replaced the Chinese controller with EPS something or other, little Wi-Fi microcontroller, which is that there. I've modified mine more so I can put audio in, and it routes audio in through the HDMI signal. So what this does is it takes the video signal coming in here and upscales it so it actually looks good on a modern flat panel TV. And the software for that is called GBS Control. So obviously there's been a few modifications in here. So you have to wire in the microcontroller into the, you can almost see it. There's a little chip underneath my audio board, which does all the scaling, and another one over here. And it is fantastic. It was super cheap. I think the GBS board cost $90. The microcontroller cost about $5. The audio board cost probably another $5. And it works fantastically. I would highly recommend it to everyone. I made a nice, well, somewhat nice 3D printed case for it. Didn't realise that it wouldn't close with the audio board in there, so I'd need to redo that at some point, but it works fantastically. I would highly recommend this project to anyone. The only thing where it really sort of falls down is strange refresh rates. So I've got an Atari ST, which the high resolution mode outputs at 70 Hertz, which is fine for a proper VGA monitor, but it outputs a strange resolution. So it outputs 640 by 200, or 640 by 400, 640 by 400 at 70 Hertz. This thing, when it detects a 70 Hertz signal, as far as I can tell, it only detects that as 1024 by 768. So it's screwy with that. But On the other hand, it has been absolutely fantastic with my Apple IIe Platinum with the RGB card in it. Like crystal clear output. The other one I have for scaling is more for consoles, is the Retro Scaler 2X. Now, people aren't, this is a cheap Chinese knockoff of the RetroTink 2X. I would have loved to have given the RetroTink guys my money rather than the Chinese knockoff, but this was $80 delivered. You can input all sorts of video, outputs HDMI, does scaling, does some filtering, and this is a direct knockoff of the RetroTink. I do feel bad that, you know, the RetroTink guys missed out on getting my money because they're the ones who've done all the hard work. But this was $80 delivered. To get a RetroTink to Australia would have been about $180. So, alas, I had to count my pennies. And so that's about it for today. Please like and subscribe. See you in the next one. Bye.